Pankisi village, the Pankisi Gorge. Look at this, it is huge. You can literally smell the sheep.
So quaint. The journalists, they had you know, the narrative in their mind.
And it's had a lot of bad press.
You will not find this anywhere else.
Good morning from Kazbegi, the Greater Caucasus here in Georgia. It is bitterly cold this morning, and it is our last day in Georgia as we've had to cut things short as we need to get home. There has been a family emergency. I'm sure we'll explain it all for those of you that want to know in the near future. But we had one more thing that we wanted to try and do before we left the country. That was visit a local village, and we found a local village with a very interesting recent history, and that is the Pankisi village, the Pankisi Gorge. It's actually home to ethnic Muslims, Kists, a lot of them that have come from Chechnya in Russia, a lot of them during the Chechen War, and it's had a lot of bad press. It's had rumours that they harbour Islamic terrorists there. A few of the locals, or a lot of the locals, I'm not sure of the numbers, have travelled to Syria to fight for Islamic State. And there was even rumours that Osama bin Laden was harboured there at one point. How much of this is all true, I do not know. A lot of things can be political, but in recent times, small guest houses and organisations have tried to change the perception of this place, and that is why we're going. We found a really cool guest house with a great story, a really positive story. They've sort of banned reporters because reporters always pick up on the negative things, so we want to go there and check out what real life is like there and the real story.
We actually read online about the guest house called Nazi's Guest House, and she is the lady who is trying to change the perception of the village. She set up this guest house. We're excited to see it, see the village, but places always have perceptions, you know. Everyone always says, oh, don't go there, it's dangerous, don't go there because of this, but we want to see what it really is like. Otherwise people just won't ever go there. As Matt said, journalists say bad things about it all the time, so we want to go see it for ourselves and check out the real village life here in Georgia. And we're gonna miss this little one. You can't come with us.
Yes, we are. Thank you. With Matt, our driver for the day. It is so cold. My first task is on the road is to get a papaka, which is a hat that is worn in the Caucasus Mountains, full of wool, and it keeps you warm. Is that papaka? Ah, yes. Thank you. Hello. Third time lucky, we have stopped in the middle of nowhere and look at all these papakas. The first guy wanted 100, which was crazy. The second wanted 50, and here there is a variation in prices for different sizes. They were 30 in Tbilisi, so that is sort of the price that we have in our head. I'll try it on. So they're all different prices. Does it fit nice? It looks okay? Mira?
Is that nice?
It looks okay? Let me see, let me check. I'm like a real Georgian mountain man now.
Try a different one.
I
like it. We changed our minds. We're going for the one that was 40. It's 40, right, Molly?
Yeah.
Look at this, it is huge. You can literally smell the sheep.
Yeah. It's nice. Look at that.
I'm feeling so warm. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I am now one happy Georgian mountain man. I think we have about 2 hours until we get to...
Can you even see?
Pankisi. Do you think they'll like it?
Yeah.
I think they'll wear it. I'm sure they will. And if Khabib is watching, do you want it? You want to fight? I'm sorry guys. You're just warming me up.
After a long 5-hour drive, we have made it here to Jacolo. This is so exciting, very different, very rural, and I actually did my research on the way. So we're actually in the Kakheti region, which we have already been in, and that is the wine region here. And it's interesting because this is a completely dry area, so you cannot drink alcohol and you have to dress modestly. Luckily I'm covered head to toe, so it's absolutely fine. But we're going to go ahead and meet Nazi, who's running the guest house, and the initiative to bring tourism here I'm excited to explore it. It's so quaint. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. This is my family home, and this was built by my grandfather.
Wow.
Straight after Second World War, 1948.
Wow.
And so we just, when we decided to create the guest house, we just did some repairing work and some renovation.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the main building is this one, and we just decided to keep it as it is, the old, the rustic style. I didn't want to change much.
What made you open the guest house, and when did you open it?
So this is almost 10 years since we have this guest house. And so the reason we decided to set up the guest house and promote tourism here in the valley was because we had very bad negative stereotypes about valley, and because of the Chechen refugee crisis, because we had when there was war in Chechnya, we had Chechen refugees, so that's why we got a lot of media attention saying that there are fighters, there are terrorists in the valley. So it was 20 years ago, but still, the journalists, they had, the narrative in their mind, and they just wanted to.
They went with it, yeah.
Yeah, again and again. So, and even in Tbilisi, among my friends or other people, when they found out that I was from here, I was a Chechen from Bangladesh, straight away there was kind of like they
really,
were, afraid.
Oh my God! I think that's the problem with journalists, because bad news sells more stories, so it's easier for them to, rather than tell a good story.
Yeah, so that's why I decided that I had to do something to change these stereotypes, and I decided to approach different ministries, different organizations, and asking them to help us to change the reputation, because and the government was saying that this is the safest region in Georgia. But at the same time, they didn't help us to change those stereotypes. I was working as a lawyer in Tbilisi City Hall, and that's why I decided to come back and to bring people here in the valley. So I didn't think that we need to promote tourism, and I just realized that to bring people, it would be the best way to promote tourism.
Yeah, for sure.
And I had no experience as my background lawyer. So
when you type in the Pankisi area, the first thing that comes up is Nazi's guest house. It doesn't come up with the area, it comes up with the guest house. And I think that is partly the reason why we wanted to come here, because it's just such an important part of, what's changing.
Of Georgia. We want to travel and see all parts, and the way you're doing it is the best way. We always say places have a stigma. Go and see that place, and then you'll see the real story, rather than just reading and believing what you read.
Yeah, that's right. So this has been very challenging for us to change the minds of the people.
This guest house is lovely. It's everything I wanted and more from a local Georgian village. It's quaint, it's cute, it's got your modern amenities, and what Nazi is doing is amazing. She's putting the whole area on the map, changing the stigma of the area and bringing tourists here to see it for themselves. This is what we say all the time. Don't believe what you read. Come to a place, experience it, and then make your mind up.
In the Chechen city in Georgia, we are called kists.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because the first person, the group of the people who came from Chechnya, they were from the village called Kist. That's why local Georgians started to call us Kists. Kists are coming from...
It's like a nickname.
Yeah, it's a nickname. And so we have the Chechens from Georgia now. All of us, we are called Kists.
Kists, yeah.
And even though we've been here for 200 years, we did not really assimilate with Georgians. And we adopted some traditions, like when we have our friends coming, like Georgian friends coming to attend for weddings or the funerals. And we just, because we wanted to show the respect, and that's why we had like a separate table for them. With wine, or so that's why we just very few traditions adopted.
That's because I read that obviously we're in the Kakheti region, which we visited the Kakheti region before on a wine trip. Yeah. But I read that here was a dry area, right? So you can't have alcohol here.
Yeah, we can't because we don't drink.
Yeah, of course.
People don't make any wine and any alcohol here. We have traditional kist beer, but it's non-alcohol. And so this is the beer as well.
Oh wow!
Beer.
Oh my god, how incredible is that? That is amazing.
Lovely,
I absolutely love that.
Produced.
Wow. I did not expect all this food.
Where do you even start when you have this much? You know what I think I am going to start with, because I'm going to go straight in. We have traditional Chechen style hachapuri, which is filled with pumpkin, which is just unbelievable. Look at that. You will not find this anywhere else. Oh, so sweet. Makes a change from having heavy cheese all the time, and it is nice and warm on this cold winter's day.
Don't always judge a book by its cover. This is exactly what we said. Come here and experience this. This is already, without even trying the food, the biggest Georgian feast we have had the whole time we've been here, and I couldn't start without trying this. This is a non-alcoholic beer, obviously being in a Muslim village, but it is produced locally by one of the villagers, so you can only get this here. I'm really excited to try this. Of all the beers that I've tried, this is probably the most unique. Wow, look at the colour of that. It's like dark orange. Oh, it smells good. It smells hoppy. I don't know how you can make it smell hoppy.
It's a rose hip with hops. There's still hops in it.
Oh, that is lovely. It's really sweet. Almost like a cider. Really, really good. And I'm gonna go, do you know what? I'm gonna be really weird. I'm gonna try the dessert first.
That is just so strange.
I can't remember the name of this, but it's a famous
Halva.
Chechen dessert. This looks lovely. It almost looks like a Rice Krispie cake or granola bar.
That was just the weirdest thing to go in with first.
I know. I am to start with all the normal food. We have more food arriving. This is ridiculous. This is caldet, and it's like curd with butter. It looks really good. It smells really good. And you're meant to get your machadi, which is the Georgian cornbread.
I'm obsessed with that. I love that.
Break a little bit. And I presume just dip in there. Oh.
It's a very similar concept to the cheesy dish we had the other day.
It is very similar. It's it's almost like the cheese that you get in the khinkali that's been added into a bowl with like butter, and it's a lot thicker.
Super
it melts
healthy.
in your mouth. Yeah.
I love guest house food. It really is the best.
That food was incredible. Like Molly said, the best food. You can actually hear the call for prayer in the distance. Wow, can you hear that? I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that. But yeah, guest house food is always the best, and to try dishes that we may have never been able to try, which is why we wanted to come to this region and learn about the culture. But now we're just having a quick walk through the village just to see what life is like. The dangerous village. Yeah, it's a lot of agriculture, but it's an amazing location. Far out in the distance, if you keep walking, you'll see the mountains leading into Chechnya, Russia. This is it. A lot of agriculture. Not as many people as used to be here as there was before. Did you say a lot of people went to Tbilisi?
Yeah, there was 12,000 and now there's 5.
Only 5,000 here in the village. So it's a small, quaint, quiet village.
She actually said that they didn't have that much
thank
land
you. My hat.
here anymore. Oh no, it's keeping my hands warm. They didn't have that much land here because it's a very narrow valley, but you can see that they all have their own gardens for their chickens. They might have a few cows. Chickens everywhere actually.
Guy at the back fixing his tractor, whatever you call it.
Tractor truck, and some very noisy.
I think they're turkeys as well.
Yeah, big turkeys.
You've got the river to the side of us. It's actually the largest. Can you remember the name of the river?
I can't.
We can't. It's the largest river in all of Georgia, and it starts right here in the valley. There's not so much going on though. It's pretty chilled. Some of the local boys behind doing what do you call it? What are they called when you do that?
Donuts.
Donuts in their car. Like any normal village, like any normal town, like any normal city.
One thing we did find out was that it's very difficult to not necessarily interact, but you know, film and chat to locals because of the bad press that journalists have brought here. So they look at us and think we're journalists, but we're not.
Untrusting, which is fair enough.
Untrusting, yeah. I mean, it's completely fair enough. But we just wanted to show how pretty.
They seem friendly though. Everyone says hello.
Yeah, everyone says hello.
You're welcome.
It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you for coming.
No, I'm really sad that we couldn't stay.
Hopefully when we come back to Georgia, make
Yeah.
sure we can stay. And I'm pretty sure this is just going to get more and more popular because what you're
Thank
doing
you
is
so
amazing.
much. Thank you so much for coming.